Bill, I would just like to say that the work that you've done is something that I really appreciate. I pick up your books from time to time and just read portions of the books. And today, the news is in the Middle East. In fact, October 7th, I think, changed the world. I think you'd probably agree with me. At the time, we thought, this little straggly band of people coming into a party zone in Israel after dark, and we thought, what in the world's going on here? Little did we know what a large event this would turn out to be. And as we speak, it's getting larger. And I wanted you to talk about the force that we're hearing about in the news as we're sitting talking to each other right now. And that word is Hezbollah. A lot of people may have heard on the news that Hezbollah is doing this, Hezbollah is planning this. What exactly is Hezbollah, and can you find references to what they're doing in Scripture?
Well, that's a good starting point, because right now the focus really is on the northern border of Israel, with the clashes going on between Israel and Hezbollah that look like they're going to upscale into a full-scale war. And that's probably important to talk about who Hezbollah is, to get a grasp on the danger that they present to Israel. Hezbollah means the party of God. It was established, it's a Shia Islamist political party and militant group established by Iran. Their Secretary General, many of our viewers are familiar with, this Hassan Nasrallah, and he's been there since 1992, I believe. And they are very dangerous. They're one of Iran's most significant proxies. They had a war with Israel in 2006, whereby they lobbed 4,000 missiles into northern Israel for 34 days, causing many Israelis to dwell in bomb shelters in the northern part of Israel for that entire month. And then there was a UN resolution 1701 that came out and said that Hezbollah needs to dismantle their arsenal and stay to the north of what's called the Litani River. And of course, they violated that, and now they have approximately 150,000 missiles pointed at Israel. Some of them are precision guided. They've got a full bank of targets that they're aiming at Israel. Matter of fact, just recently, a few days prior to this show that we're talking about, Hezbollah sent a drone over the Haifa area and had 9 minutes worth of footage that they showed publicly to show Israel that, hey, listen, we can get into your sensitive areas, especially the Haifa area. One of the targets they were looking at was the Raphael military factory there, one of the main concerns of Israel. So Hezbollah is a real serious threat, and they've been lobbing lots of missiles, I think over 5,000 now, into northern Israel. They've got many of the northern Israel towns evacuated. There's roughly about 60 to 80,000 Israelis that have been evacuated and out of their homes for almost 8 to 9 months now. It's a major problem because Israel has to get them back into their homes, but they can't go back into their homes as long as Hezbollah's threat looms large. And now that the talks are, the concerns are, and we can rifle off some headlines here, that this is going to go into a massive war, not just a conflict, a skirmish that's been going on, but a massive conflict that will probably draw in Iran, probably draw in Syria with its chemical weapons, upscale the Houthis attacks. They've got precision-guided missiles also. They're still very active in the Red Sea right now. There's Shiite militias in Iraq. The Hamas, of course, are a proxy of Iran, as well as there are in the West Bank, there are proxies of Iran as well.
I've got a quick question. What is the relationship between the people who are running the Gaza operation and Hezbollah? Or do they work closely together, or are they two separate groups, widely separated?
They're two separate groups. I don't know that I'd say they're widely separated. Hamas is a primarily Palestinian group that governs the Gaza area since I think around 2005. They are Sunni Muslims, but for some reason, because of the common hatred they have with the Shiite group of Hezbollah and Iran, they've embraced Iran as a sponsor for their terrorism. So they have meetings together. They have had many meetings together with Hezbollah and Iran and Syria, Bashar al-Assad. So they're part of Iran's proxy network, but they are distinctly different. And of course, they're taking a shellacking right now with respect to Israel's war with them. But at this point in time, that war now seems to be shifting more toward the north, and Israel's not done with that war. They're still in Rafah, the southern Gaza area, and they're doing, a lot of business there, taking out a lot of terrorists. I think they've killed about 550 to 650 Hamas terrorists in that Rafah area. But that now their attention is being shifted to the north, and I think that'll be phase two of Iran's plan, a massive war with Hezbollah and Israel.
Now, you've written the books that we showed just a minute ago, and written in succession, each one building on the one that went before. And what I'd like to ask you about your books, when you look back to the books you've written, were you spot on, or did you miss in a degree or two, or a degree or three, left or right? And how are things working according to what you've been writing all these years?
Well, I'd like to think I was spot on. Of course, a lot of the information prophetically is going to happen even after the rapture of the church. So, we won't know that except for what we see from the mezzanine seats in heaven. But a lot of the things in the Now Prophecies book and the Next Prophecies book are stage setting, dealing with the Arab-Israeli conflict in Psalm 83, a lot of the Israeli Defense Forces prophecies. That's another interesting thing. I was just thinking about this, Gary, because I cover this extensively in the Now Prophecies book, is the Israeli Defense Forces that we see burgeoning into a strong army. They exist in fulfillment of Bible prophecy. We're told in Ezekiel 37:10, as we talk about the dry bones vision in that Ezekiel 37, it pictures the Jewish people dispersed out of their homeland in a Holocaust type condition. It says a time when they said our bones are dry, our hope is lost, and we ourselves are cut off. Ezekiel is told to prophesy, and these bones stand up on their feet, and it says they'll come back into the land of Israel and become an exceedingly great army. And in the Now Prophecies book, I write about several prophecies where the Israeli Defense Forces are taking to task and winning the wars of the Arab countries around them, Hamas included. And Hezbollah also is involved in a couple prophecies. Hopefully we have time to talk about. But as I see this, and also Isaiah 17, the destruction of Damascus,
Yes.
Israeli Defense Forces are involved in that. So I would just like to say, as an important pause here for the viewers, when you see the Israeli Defense Forces, and they're more and more in the news now, especially now that they're going to probably go full throttle against Hezbollah, realize, hey, they exist in fulfillment of Bible prophecy, and they exist in fulfillment of Bible prophecy to accomplish the defeat of their Arab enemies around them who despise them. Not involved in Ezekiel 38, that God stops that supernaturally, and they're not involved in Armageddon because in the first 2.5 years of Armageddon, they're living in a peace confirmed by the false covenant by the Antichrist in Daniel 9:27. And then in the second half of the tribulation, they're fleeing for their lives. So right now, when we see the Israeli Defense Forces growing, they're a great army, but they're going to be an exceedingly great army after they take out their Arab enemies in fulfillment of multiple prophecies, Gary. I think that's a phenomenal thing to watch for us interested in prophecy. The Israeli Defense Forces right now, when we look at them, we should look at them through the lens of biblical prophecy.